taxes, tariffs, Trump's tariffs. He's making news. They're saying, the U.S. Appeals Court is saying the tariffs are not legal. Now, I kind of don't like tariffs. I don't like taxes. I understand this is a negotiation tactic to, make everybody, I guess, play fairly when it comes to our geopolitical trades. But at the end of the day, if it is illegal, like, what the hell? What do you guys think? I guess I'll start with Phil. What do you think about these tariffs are illegal? Are they good or bad?
Tariffs overall, I think that they're good if they're targeted. I don't think overall just general tariffs are good as long as there's an income tax. There was a time when tariffs were used to fund the government before the income tax. But if you have just a broad-based tariff, generally the American people tend to pay that, right? The cost of goods goes up because of the tariffs. The people that are receiving the merchandise pay the tariffs, and then they increase the cost when they pass that cost increase onto the people. So if you get rid of the income tax, tariffs may be a way to supplement it. I don't know that I have a strong preference. As for if there's benefit from Trump's tariffs now, I think they've worked out fairly well so far. But it
$30 billion last year.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. No, hold on. I'm not saying that there hasn't been money coming in, but that money has. I think that money has largely come from the American people paying that. So it's just a tax increase at the end.
You mean like the importers?
No, well, the importers take it in, and then they pass that cost on to the consumers.
They pay it.
No,
no. Yes, they pay it, but then they pay that initially. Then they increase the cost of the goods and services that are being used.
But we haven't seen a lot of inflation.
There has been some inflation. Inflation has not gone.
Gas is down like an incredible amount.
But this is the big argument.
Libby, hold on. There has been some inflation.
I'm paying you back. Did you see that Twitter person like screaming at you for interrupting?
I was trying to get you to expand on your idea. But anyways, the point being, there has been some inflation. Not significant and not bad inflation, but there has been some, and it looks like that will continue. But it's not going to be like the 10% that we had when Biden was in office, because it's a totally different context. But the actual price does get passed off to the American people.
I bought 100 green dildos on Amazon, and it was three times the price.
Did you throw them at the women's NBA?
I didn't throw anything, but I'm part of a Discord
group
that I have not thrown any.
Were they ever green that got thrown on?
They were all green. We do that on purpose, so we can do a little.
Sorry, I heard about it, but I didn't bother.
Yeah, so the price of plastic's through the roof, but we're not going to stop throwing them. I'm not part of that, but people are not going to stop.
I honestly think that this tariff thing is so much bigger than trade, and that's why I fully support it. And I fully support Trump using it as a negotiating tool in areas that are apart from trade, like foreign policy, national security. I think it's a national security issue. I think we've been under this illusion of this it's like libertarian in the sense that it's based on free market and capitalism, but it's also leftist, this illusion of free trade in the sense that it's like very utopian because it ignores the fact that it only works if people play by the rules. And when you have a country like China that is not playing by any of the rules, and we have literally gutted our entire domestic industrial base and ceded it over to our greatest adversary, who's now producing like over 80% of our generic medicines, then this does become a national security issue. And the only thing that you can do in order to bring back manufacturing and industry to America is to have these targeted tariffs. And I agree that they should be a temporary measure. And I agree that there could even be some downsides short term. But whenever you're trying to do like a massive overhaul like this, some people are going to get hurt. Look what Trump's trying to do with the gutting the bureaucracy. Like, people get fired, people lose their jobs. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. But I really think that it's the only thing that really can bring back America as a flourishing manufacturing base.
Well, Trump says the February tariffs against China and Canada and Mexico were appropriate because those countries were not doing enough to stop the illegal fentanyl trade from crossing the United States borders. So I guess, Libby, you love fentanyl. What do you think? Do these taxes help your fentanyl connection dry up, or how is your fentanyl connection going these days?
It's been fine.
Even with the taxes? Trump says he's got the tariff. He says he's going to stop it. You can read it right there. He says the tariffs against China and Canada.
I think mine might be counterfeit, because I'm out here in West Virginia, and so it's like sort of a Appalachian
Do you have any friends in New York that are doing fentanyl? Can you call them and ask if the price has gone up?
No, all my friends in New York have children the same age as mine.
Trust me, there's people with kids doing fentanyl in New York. Okay, trust me, I'm doing some right now. I got a bunch of baby mamas.
Right?
But what is that?
I'm not opposed to the tariffs. I got to say, I have had a lot of fun watching Trump's negotiation style with other countries.
What is that style?
Deals, all
It's
of this.
incredible.
I know, but what is the style? Just do it or else, right? I mean,
No. It's starting like we're going to slap like 100% tariffs on you as a way for them to come to the table, and then it's incredible. People just they show up and they deliver what Trump wants, and then Trump's like, okay, 30%.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot to be said about the influence that the United States has, and I think that Barack Obama and Joe Biden were afraid to use the soft power that the United States has.
Well, because you know what it is? They were spending a lot of money on the soft power. They were, creating trans comic books in Peru and sending condoms all over the world and providing abortions in Rwanda, but they weren't actually taking advantage, you're right, of what that soft power would do. One thing that Obama did and Biden did a similar thing is they would come to the table saying, okay, we're going to negotiate with you, so we'll give up these things. And then the other side would be like, okay, now that's baseline, you idiot, And Trump gives up nothing. Trump's just like, we're going to take everything. We're going to rule the world. And, if you're lucky, you get some crumbs.
But I also think Trump is incredibly fair about this. I don't think he's I don't think he's over. I think he's doing an awesome job for America. I don't really care how he's doing for the rest of the world.
Amen.
Well, no, but I think that he wants good relationships with other countries, and that implies that there has to be some sort of mutual benefit.
He brings them to the White House gift shop. He gives them a Trump 2028 hat, and everybody's happy.
So, Libby, I like how you're kind of upping the ante and how you're sliding trans into every single topic. So I'm gonna try to keep pace with you here.
That?
You did. Trans comic books.
I apologize.
Oh yeah, you have been.
Don't be sorry.
The one thing about what this news story headline actually was is that the courts are trying to say that his tariffs are illegal. And one of the things that I do keep seeing happen over and over and over again is the courts keep jamming up every single thing that's been tried.
The Epstein files, the judge did not let the Epstein files go.
They won't let that out.
Sorry, go ahead.
But even the executive orders that I really supported, every single one of them has been jammed up in the courts. So part of the problems with these things is we can't actually see what could come of it because the courts often are what's stopping things.
So I'm not against Trump's any of the actions that Trump has taken. I think that it's fine that he's trying all these things, but it is worth noting that Congress is supposed to actually be the ones that decide whether or not there are tariffs or not. So legitimately, it's constitutional for Congress to do it. Technically, it's unconstitutional for Trump to do it, so that's why he gets jammed up sometimes. But again, I'm not against him trying this stuff, but by the letter of the Constitution, it is supposed to be Congress that does this. But Congress doesn't like to do its job. Congress loves to
look at wasn't it EPA versus the West Virginia a couple of years ago? And West Virginia was like, we're not going to do what you say, EPA, because you don't actually have any control over us. And it ended up in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was like, yeah, EPA wants to do all of this stuff. They say that they have the power to do it because they were created by Congress, but Congress is the one that has to legislate all of this. And Congress is like, no, we don't want to do that.
Congress
we just want to go on some more junkets. We want to take August off.
About? I mean, if they hold the purse strings and if they have the power, are you guys saying
they don't want to? The reason they don't want to is because then they have to face their voters. If you can go as a congressperson,
they have to what?
Then they have to face their voters. They have to go to their voters and say, I voted yes on this, I voted no on this. Congress doesn't want to do that. They don't want to ever have to take responsibility. It's much easier and better for the individual Congress people to pass it off to a bureaucratic agency, let the bureaucrats take it because they don't have to be voted for. They just get appointed. And then when a new administration comes in, they get a cushy job somewhere on K Street or something like that. And then when a friendly administration comes back in, they go back into the administration. It's easier that way for both the people in Congress and the bureaucrats. It's a great deal. Nobody gets voted out of office.
The only one who gets screwed are the voters.
Exactly.
Jasmine Crockett works her ass off, so do not.
She's making the podcast circuit. She's getting her nails did.
I know, and she's got her new eyelashes. So trust me, there are some politicians that are
She also has new hair.
grinding. I guess my personal opinion when I look at this, there are some, I guess, legal loopholes that Trump tries to use that probably aren't necessarily legal, but I think he does have America's best interest, so I probably don't necessarily disagree with him. But
I don't think there are loopholes so much as he is testing the norms and he's testing some laws, right? But he's really testing norms because a lot of things that you see the Democrats and leftists getting upset about saying that Trump is destroying democracy, what they're really saying is he's not doing things the way that we've done them for the past 20 years.
Yep.
He's doing them differently. And even though it's not illegal, it's different and we don't like it. And this is the same batch of people who keep screaming every 4 years about how they want change, but they don't actually know what they want to change from what into what. They just know that they don't want Trump. And that's where they're at. And so what I think is most interesting about all of these court decisions that keep coming up, this appellate court now, what is this federal circuit? You have the appellate courts all over the country striking down Venezuelans getting deported, striking down, the elimination of TPS,
Ridiculous.
which is so stupid. And that's because at the end of Biden's term, he prematurely extended it for a whole nother term, which, you know what that is? That's breaking norms, everybody. That's not what you're supposed to do. But what I think is interesting, we were talking about this pre-show, is the courts don't actually have any power.
No.
They just say stuff.
Yeah.
They have no enforcement mechanism. And so I wonder, how far can the courts push their stupidity and demanding that people like Kilmar or Abrego Garcia come back, or like you can't deport people to Uganda, even though Uganda was like, what? Send them in,
This goes
just
to a
pay
point-
us. Like, what happens when the courts go too far and everyone's like, screw you?
This goes to a point that I was making the other night. There is only so much that the president can do if he doesn't have the popular support of the people, and exactly. But if he has the popular support of the people, the president can get away with a ton of stuff, and
Right.
this has been demonstrated on both sides of the aisle. But like if
Right, like Obama got away
Absolutely,
with
yes,
kind of
the
stuff.
president
and
can-
George Bush got away with the Patriot Act.
the president has great power that he can exercise as long as he has people that agree. And I was making this point to Mary, and I forget who else. I forget who else what it was, but they were like, he should do more to deport people and blah blah blah. And the argument I was making is it's bad to have ICE grabbing grandma, abuela, and grandpa and throwing them into cruisers to take them off, because that makes Karen upset. And Karen goes out in the street and she yells at ICE people, and then you get videos that Karen took, and she puts up these videos on Facebook and on Instagram, and then popular support starts to diminish. So it's better to not have to use ICE to grab people off the street and throw them into vans to deport them. It's better to make it difficult for people that are here illegally to stay, make it difficult for them to find housing, make it difficult for them to keep their jobs, punish the
Take
people
away
that-
the $3,000 a month. So that you can
Absolutely.
have your apartment in Springfield.
But the point that I'm making is he can do things, the president can do things as long as he has support. But things that are bad optically will lose support. But when it comes to things that are whether or not it's constitutional, that's really a gray area as long as he has popular support.
Is there a way that we can rate, I've heard certain political appointees in the Trump administration say that what the district courts are doing, involving themselves in these federal affairs, is actually illegal. If that's the case, then are there practical steps that can be taken other than ignoring their rulings?
No, there's not. That's the reason why we're never going to find out about Jeffrey Epstein, because he was probably connected to intelligence, not just for America, but probably for Israel. And so when they have classified levels of information and judges can protect it, and even a president can't veto that,
We're like the biggest troll ever.
No, I'm being
Wasn't
honest.
there-
I'm just saying there's the classified levels of information that Donald Trump cannot expose. It's actually a crime for him to expose certain classified levels of information. So
I'm not 100% sure about that. Libby, wasn't there?
So you're saying there's
classified
nothing-
information?
The president has discretion to
He does-
decide
he
what
does have
is or is
discretion.
not
I mean,
classified.
Yes, he is the
Doesn't he get to
Presidential
put-
Records Act.
I guess
things
I guess
into
my question would be
boxes
more
and
for
hide
like
them
a
in
legal,
whatever
like
bathroom he
like
wants to?
like a legal.
It's the
mind. I was
Presidential
just
Records
wondering-
Act.
Like so,
he
there,
can take whatever he wants.
but I was
He has
just
to
wondering if
officially
there's any
deem it
practical step.
non-classified.
I was just
Yeah, but
wondering if
can't
there's
he
any
do
like
that?
practical steps though that can be taken against the
No.
district
So
court.
I
not.
think
By
so.
saying
Well,
this
hold
is-
on, Libby. Wasn't there a case that was just decided by the Supreme Court that said that these nationwide injunctions are not constitutional?
Yes, what case was that?
That was
a really
about
fascinating
about
case.
the 14th Amendment, about
was- yeah.
the whether or not people that are born here are actually
Oh,
citizens.
that's right. It was
Yeah.
birthright. It was
Oh,
birthright.
yeah.
And
That was a
so,
big one.
so the court was saying that for the individual cases, the individual people, the moms who brought the case and said, my baby gets to be a citizen, those cases are separate. You can't make a decision on those cases and have it apply to everybody. But what was interesting about that is under the Biden administration, when you had, I think it was Moms for Liberty and some other groups brought cases about some education stuff, they got a nationwide injunction and it had to stop across the country. So was it Title IX? I think it might have been Title IX stuff.
I'm not sure, but I know.
I don't remember. But yeah, they said no nationwide injunctions, which the ACLU got mad about because they really wanted to just bring one case and have it apply to everybody. And now they're back to having to bring individual cases in every jurisdiction where there's, an illegal immigrant who wants their baby to be an American.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.